Hello everyone, Constitutionalist Libertarian here. And in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at one that was put out by MSNBC. It's from Lawrence O'Donnell's show, The Last Word, and it was published on June 14th. Senator Al Frankin says Jeff Sessions violated his recusal. Now, when CNN has to basically admit that, yeah, the Russian narrative is bullshit, and MSNBC is still pushing it, that right there should say a lot. When Al Frankin is pushing it, that should say a lot. Because he's kind of become the, male cheerleader for the deep state, the male cheerleader for globalism. He's, this moron who talks out of his ass and thinks that he's actually an intellectual. It's kind of funny, he's just this annoying, rambling, babbling idiot. He really is. I mean, that was the basis of a lot of his characters on Saturday Night Live, which none of them are really memorable. I mean, you've got the beta male cuck with affirmations, okay, which wasn't even funny. I mean, they made a movie that would have gone direct to DVD and completely bombed, but I think it did actually hit the theaters and bombed, and then hit video and bombed. He's got one other that he has one other character. Trying to think of the best way to describe it. Basically, it's the SNL mobile news guy. And it's him basically playing himself. I mean, yes, it's, an over-exaggerated version of himself, but it's still him basically being him. So you have this guy here trying to act like, oh yeah, I got Sessions. Me, just some dumb liberal lefty shitty comedian. I managed to really get that guy. And Lion Larry is trying to push that with him here. And the thing is they're taking the confirmation hearing and the question that was posed to Sessions out of context. Because, and I'm going to set this up before we get into it. He said, besides rambling on and on, that as a surrogate, if anyone from the Trump campaign had met with Russia, what would you do? As a surrogate of the Trump campaign. So, with all the stuff before that and everything else, Sessions thought that he was actually answering what Frankin wanted with this rambling question, and was going to, I'm sure, get into the whole thing about what he would do, because he'd said he would recuse himself. So, I mean, he actually said that at that hearing. He would recuse himself. He said it during, at other points as well. So, I mean, when he's doing that, you really don't have much ammunition. But yet, you're sure going to try to lob a few shots in his direction, though, aren't you? Because, when he's hearing surrogate and he responds, well, I never met with Russians, and he's referring to as a surrogate of the Trump campaign, which they couldn't cut him out saying that part, the surrogate part. But they cut out the leading up to part so that it looks like he's lying. And it's so sleazy and disgusting. And you would think Frankin, where what he said is a matter of congressional record, would own up and say, hey, Larry, you're lying here, buddy. No. He's playing along with it, which goes to show what a sleazeball he is. But, yeah, so let's get into this video.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions had a big problem going into today's Senate Intelligence Committee hearing. It was a problem that he created for himself in his answer to Senator Al Franken's question during his confirmation hearing.
No, he didn't create the problem for himself. You shitbags at MSNBC and CNN and other leftist outlets, along with the deep state, you friggin' created the problem for him. Because Frankin, as I had just said, had brought up the fact of, as a surrogate of the Trump campaign, you know, the people in it meeting with Russians. So he responded and said, and we'll get into it, but he brought up himself and said, hey, I haven't met with any Russians in that capacity. That's not lying. That's a matter of fact. But let's get on here, because I'm kind of being a bit of a spoiler here.
If there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government
as a surrogate, which if you go and you look at the full, rambling, long, one run-on of a sentence question, he brings up surrogates. And he also brings up the fact that, well, I'm not a lawyer, and, yeah, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer. Okay, well, so, I mean, the thing is he brings up the surrogate thing. So, now watch this, because they cut it out, but they can't cut out Sessions' response. They can't edit it without it looking really bad. So watch what happens.
in the course of this campaign, what will you do?
Senator Frankin, I'm not aware of any of those activities.
So he answers the question, said, I'm not aware of those activities, so there's no reason for me to worry about that, okay? Because this was a long, rambling question he had asked about if he had known. Like, he brought up if he knew, if this, if that. So he asked all these questions as one big question, basically. So he's trying to trap Sessions by doing this, and when Sessions can only answer so much of it, they try to use it against him. Because, I mean, watch this. This is the Southern gentleman and the humor of that coming out with his response, which is a truthful response. But, I mean, you know, he's trying to throw some levity into the situation.
Have been called a surrogate at a time or two. And
see, as a surrogate. So, Frankin had brought up the whole surrogate thing, which they cut out. He's bringing it up here and talking about it. And he's saying, as a surrogate, no, I never met with the Russians.
That campaign, and I didn't not have communications with the Russians, and I'm unable to comment on it.
So, you see, right there, he said, as a surrogate, I never had any meetings with Russia. So I was not representing the Trump campaign and talking to Russians, which is truthful.
I did not have communications with the Russians. That
as a surrogate.
Part of Jeff Sessions' answer turned out to be untrue.
No, it turned out to be true. See, you're misrepresenting the truth, Lion Larry, because, oh my God, that's right. He was asked about the whole thing of them meeting with the Russians as surrogates. So he responded that he was not meeting with Russians as a surrogate of the campaign.
Very untrue. He was late.
No! Again, not untrue. Not very untrue. It was true.
Revealed to have had multiple communications with Russians.
2 communications in his capacity as a U.S. Senator, and you're being dishonest there with communications, okay? Because one was an official meeting that he had in his capacity as a senator, okay? And that one was held in his office, and it wasn't like it was just him and the ambassador. It was their staffs were present. Then you had this, which that one you can't claim as being untrue because he was asked on the note of the whole surrogate thing, and he was being honest. You know, I mean, he divulged a little more than he needed to. I mean, he wasn't exactly asked about himself. But, so, he was being truthful with, you know, not being a surrogate. The second one, again, he was in the capacity of a U.S. Senator. He was at the Republican National Convention. Okay, he was not part of the he was an advisor to the campaign, but he was not, you know, an actual member of it, and at that time, and I think he actually became an official member at all, if memory serves. I'm trying to think. It's real early in the morning for me, or later in the I don't know how to put it morning wise, but anyways, so he's there as a U.S. Senator. He sees Kislev in passing. It wasn't even a communication in the sense that they're trying to make it. I mean, going and shaking hands, hi, how you doing? That's what they're trying to link to Russian interference. A public interaction at the Republican National Convention. And an official meeting with him as senator in his office with their staffs. I mean, when you have to try to use that to say, yeah, you're a liar, when he was being honest, that's pretty fucking sleazy.
Joining us now, Senator Al Frankin, Democrat from Minnesota and a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Not surprisingly, you weren't present at the hearing today, but you came up. You played a key role in where Jeff Sessions stands now and why.
Whoa, no, you don't. He didn't play a key role on where he stands. See, this is completely sleazy misrepresentation of facts, creating a fallacy and presenting it as fact in the process, you know, alongside those misrepresented facts. And it's surprising that you even have any viewership when you do stuff like this. It really is, because people can actually go look at his confirmation hearing. People can actually go and look at the Intelligence Committee hearing, and they can see how dishonest you're being. I mean, I'm pointing it out, and I've seen both.
Why he's of such interest to the Senate. Let's listen to what Attorney General Sessions said about.
And where he is right now and is of such interest to the Senate, he volunteered. They didn't want him for a while. Okay? But he said, no, I'll clear my calendar. Let's get this done and over with. Because he was not going to give you leftist fucking shitbags the opportunity to keep poisoning the fucking well. Okay? And basically corrupt what people will see him as in the note of public opinion. You know, so he basically headed you off at the pass, and now you guys are trying to give fucktard fucking Frankin credit for that? Are you kidding me? He's there by his own volition.
About you in the hearing today.
Senator Frankin asked me a rambling question after some 6 hours of testimony that included dramatic new allegations that the United States intelligence community, the U.S. intelligence community, had advised President-elect Trump, quote, that there was a continuing exchange of information during the campaign between Trump's surrogates and intermediaries for the Russian government. Close quote.
You see, they don't give you because he was rambling, and they don't want you to see that he was rambling, and that he basically was throwing 15 questions into one question. Okay, they don't want you to see that. So now they're trying to play it like, well, Sessions is a senile old man. No. He exactly did what Sessions said. You can go look for yourself. I mean, it's pretty pathetic what he was doing, too. I mean, he's throwing in, like, every other, you know, like, sentence. He's throwing in, well, now I'm not an attorney. And it's like, what's the fucking point of bringing that up? What's the point of bringing that up, Frankin? There's no point.
Senator, your reaction to that?
Well, considering that the whole intelligence community thing, every intelligence report to date has been proven to be complete speculation and bullshit and fiction and so on and so forth, that should go to show that we're at a point where they're literally sitting there hoping to try to get something to stick. And they're going to keep doing it until they get shut down because they don't know when to quit.
Response today.
I don't think my question was rambling.
I don't think my question was rambling, even though in real life, the persona of me on Saturday Night Live was based on the fact that I'm a rambler and I'll just keep talking like this and have absolutely nothing of importance to say. I mean, my character on Saturday Night Live that I played as the mobile news guy for the Saturday Night Live news, he didn't ramble. No, he didn't get up into predicaments because of his rambling. Oh, no. I mean, he's supposed to be an over-exaggerated comedic version of myself. And I'm going to say, hey, you know, I don't ramble. And, you know, all those skits on Saturday Night Live based off of me are, you know, complete bullshit. I'm not like that in real life. Yeah. I mean, you know, there was that one where I was filming the New Jersey drug deal going there and with the cartels, and because of my rambling and just sitting there, they were able to see me, and Dennis Miller had to watch me like run, and that was a scary sight. I mean, seriously, that was his character on Saturday Night Live, which was a comedic personification of his real life self. So, when your whole fucking career is based off of characters that do that, because your affirmations beta male cuck did the same exact fucking thing, dude, to say that you don't ramble proves you're a fucking liar. You made your name on being a rambling fucking moron. Holy shit.
It was pretty direct. It was a pretty direct question, which is if those...
No, it wasn't a direct question, because you had it with all this shit leading up in the question to the point of what you were asking, which the intent was to try to muddy things so that he couldn't give a straight answer. But you got a different answer that you guys were able to twist and use against him.
Allegations are true. What would you do? Meaning, would you recuse yourself?
No, it had nothing to do with what would you do on the note of recuse yourself. See, that's what you want to say now. Because I'm sure you would have been happy with the fact of, well, I would have made sure, if he said, well, I would have made sure there was an investigation, and I would make sure that they were all, you know, anyone involved was prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, even though he knew that, you know, he would probably have to recuse himself because of federal statute because he was involved with the campaign. I mean, not because of the Russian thing, but because of his actual involvement in the campaign as an advisor, okay, which he brings up in this hearing and they don't talk about. See, you would have been happy to have heard that from him. You would have been happy to have him go, oh, yeah, I'd make sure they all go, you know, are going to be prosecuted and thrown in jail. You'd be like, my bitch. Okay, you'd be all fucking, you'd be like, Hercules, Hercules. You'd be so fucking happy, dude. I mean, you would seriously, you would be like that. You would be so fucking happy. You wouldn't care. So don't try to fucking now say in hindsight, well, I was talking about him recusing himself. You're a fucking liar.
And then he didn't answer that question. He answered his own question, which was, did I meet with any Russians? And he said, no, he hadn't.
He was saying, did I meet with any Russians as a surrogate? Because you brought up the whole fucking surrogate thing, you shitbag. And he said no, which was the truth. Okay, because he had met with Kislyak as a senator in his office. Then, in passing, he came across Kislyak, which you now bring up. Okay, and you're trying to make this sound nefarious. But it would be like me passing you in the hall and going, hey, okay, which would be the nice thing to do, instead of going, you're a fucking waste of space, which is what I would really want to do.
And that was not true. And
no, it was true, because you were asking on the note of a surrogate, if he, as a surrogate of the Trump campaign, did he meet with Russians? And he said, no, he didn't, which was true, you fucking liar. You and Lion Larry, I can see why you got an exclusive thing here with him. It's because you're both dishonest, sleazy fucking shitbags.
And then he didn't correct it until the Washington Post 7 weeks later came out saying he had met with Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, twice.
Okay, so the Washington Post basically does the idea of a hit piece like the ad apocalypse. Yeah, that's a decent analogy. They basically write a shit bag article like the one that caused the ad apocalypse. They take shit out of context, they completely misrepresent facts, they lie, and they take what you said, and you didn't even correct them, because no, you're going to use this to your advantage. You didn't correct them and say, well, I was referring to as a surrogate. You know, you would think that you would go and defend your fellow senator. Okay, and even though now he's, you know, because you would think you would defend that. You'd say, well, I was saying as a surrogate, you know, because, I mean, he was a member of the Senate like you. But instead, no, you choose not to do that. You play this fucking thing of, oh, look at the Washington Post, the Washington shit post. All right, fake news at its finest. All right, you're using them because they took what you said out of context to try to hang him, and now you're using the same thing that they tried to use to hang him. I mean, come on now. You know you asked him about the whole surrogate thing. You brought up surrogate. He responded with the whole surrogate thing. And you're trying to, like, completely erase that from the record when it's a matter of fact and in the congressional record. That's ridiculous.
At the Republican convention in Cleveland, then he had a press conference.
Well, in the Republican convention, it was in passing, and I notice how you bring this up and make it try to sound nefarious where it was at the RNC. You don't bring up the fact of his meeting in his office because it vindicates him saying, well, he was a fucking senator, and you asked about the whole fact of surrogates. So, yeah. You see, it doesn't back you up.
And at the press conference where he recused himself finally, he did say that, you know, if I should have probably slowed down and said that I had met with Ambassador Kislyak twice.
Well, you see, you were asking about surrogates. What he did was answer truthfully. Now you're taking what he said out of context, because he even said, I was referring to as a surrogate in my position, and, you know, he made that clear. And now you're trying to muddy that water back up again.
So that means that at that time, presumably, he remembered that he had spoken with Kislyak twice.
No! At that point, because you shitbags on the left are trying to crucify him, he came out and said, yeah, I met with him twice. Okay? And it was in my capacity as a United States Senator, not as a freaking agent or a surrogate of the Trump campaign.
Twice, and now his story has changed. He said he didn't recall that he met with Kislyak until he was told by the Washington Post.
No, he did not say that. He clarified. Holy fucking shit. He clarified the situation. Heaven forbid he give clarification.
So his story is changing. I would like to have the Attorney General come and testify to the Judiciary Committee. He is the head of the Justice Department. We have oversight over the Judiciary Committee.
Yeah, and the reason why you want that, okay, to happen is because you're hoping to go on a fishing expedition because you're a whiny little butthurt leftist deep state loving little fucktard who's upset that Trump won and your girl Hillary lost. So you're hoping to get him in there and use the much more laxed environment of a congressional hearing over a court of law. Because you know in a court of law you got nothing to stand on to go after him, and you know that you need something. And the standards for impeachment and the standards for a congressional hearing are a lot lower than those of one of an investigation and, you know, actual judicial proceeding. So this is why you want that. This has nothing to do with him having to correct himself because of dishonest fucking reporting.
And I would like to be able to question him as part of my oversight responsibilities.
You want to question him, as I said, so that you can go on a fishing expedition. Just admit it.
Senator Elizabeth Warren has...
Oh, God. Fucking Pocahontas. Here we go. This crazy bitch is being fucking rolled out. Oh, God. And as a New Englander, she is a crazy bitch. Okay, she's a lying sack of shit about her Native American / American Indian, however you want to put it, heritage. Okay? As someone who is part Native American and isn't recognized as part Native American because the U.S. federal government forced a lot of my tribe across the Canadian border. First it was the colonists driving them further and further north. Then it was the actual U.S. federal government that drove them across the border. Because it went the colonists, the states, and then the federal government got involved. It was a long process of moving them further and further north. And then they went, oh, you're Canadian Indian, eh? And I'm not even recognized, okay? This bitch commits a fraud to get a free education, to get a position that she did not clearly deserve, okay, or was qualified for, and has been using the whole Pocahontas fucking shit and an ongoing fraud from the beginning of college. So it's not like she committed fraud and the statute of limitations ran out, but you don't see anyone prosecuting her. Because as long as she keeps perpetuating that she's Native American, she's continuing the fraud. So there's no statute. If she stopped what she was doing on her claims, that's a different story. But the thing is until that bitch goes to a third-party DNA testing center and gets her fucking DNA tested and shows she's fucking Native American, as far as I'm concerned, she's a lying sack of shit. Well, she'd be a lying sack of shit even with that, because just the stuff that she says.
Tweeted today that because Attorney General Sessions refused to answer key questions about his discussions related to the Comey firing, that her conclusion in her series of tweets was, as our top law enforcement officer, the AG must be truthful and uphold the law. Sessions cannot continue to serve. He should resign.
This bitch has got plans to be running for president in the next election. I mean, when she's putting this shit out, and she's, yeah. He was truthful, okay? You know, you idiots on the left ignore actual truth, fact, and you then try to say that fiction is fact, that lies are truth, okay? Like the fact that you're a fucking Native American, bitch. You lying sack of shit. He is upholding the law. He actually recused himself because of a federal statute. Why can't he continue to serve? Oh, that's right, because he's someone that isn't your like leftist fellow fucking globalist loving shitbag fucking deep state, you know, type. I mean, the thing is you want to talk about, you know, being truthful. All right, you've lied through your whole professional fucking life. From college on, you've lied about your fucking Native American heritage. You used it to get into your office. You used it to get your job. You used it to get your education. You've lied. With that type of lie, why don't you fucking resign, bitch? Because you clearly can't represent the interests of your constituents when you fucking lie, okay? Like you do. You lie worse than a fake fucking bearskin rug that was made in China at the fucking cheapest fucking rug factory there.
Do you agree with Senator Warren on that?
Well, certainly I think he should testify before the Judiciary Committee first. I'm not...
Well, he should testify before me so I can actually get, like, actual evidence, because I have none, and then we can talk about that. But you gotta love how Lion Larry is trying to get Frankin to agree with that fucking far left, off the deep end douchebag bitch. But, you know, when he's saying he wants him to testify like that, okay, it's clear. The reason why he wants, and then we'll talk about that, is because he needs to get ammunition. And the only, like, to try to go after Sessions, to try to go after the president. And the only way to do that is to have hearings. And at this point, they've got nothing to justify having a hearing, because the Senate Intelligence Committee, their hearings are pretty encompassing. Plus, you have an investigation into the Russian situation, which is a complete fucking fabrication, you know, going on. So, when you have that being the case of all those things, yeah, there's no need for him to get another crack at Sessions. But he wants one because he wants to take it upon himself to bring about the impeachment of Trump. He is so fucking delusional to actually try to push this fucking narrative. I mean, when CNN is going, yeah, the Russian narrative, yeah, we kind of fucking lied to you. Wasn't our fault though, but we lied to you. I mean, when they're doing that type of shit, you look like a fucking moron, and you're just basically creating the situation where you're going to get called out and you're going to end up probably losing your seat. And you know what, Frankin? I got no problem with that.
Not sure. I guess he didn't claim executive privilege when he refused to respond to questions about his conversations with the president.
Okay, no, he didn't invoke executive privilege because it's not his authority to invoke executive privilege. What he did do, where the Attorney General is the attorney for the office of the president, is he was protecting attorney-client privilege on that note. He was also protecting the the constitutional rights of the president as the man and the president as the office. So, because he was doing those things which are within the legal scope and grounds of what he needs to do, because just because you become president doesn't mean that you lose your constitutional rights. You become president, you still have your personal constitutional rights intact. It's not like you're joining the military and you sign your constitutional rights away and agree, that you're going to be governed by the, Uniform Code of Military Justice. No, you're still a private citizen, even though you're the commander-in-chief of the military. So you have your constitutional protections as a private citizen. Then there are the constitutional protections that are granted to the office of the president. What Sessions did falls under protecting those constitutionally guaranteed, well, I shouldn't say constitutionally guaranteed, because the personal rights are guaranteed by our quote-unquote creator. We're born with them. The ones on the note of the office of the president, they're laid out in the Constitution, so those are more granted by the Constitution. But the point is that he's protecting both of them, both ends of the spectrum when it comes to the president, man and office.
I don't know what other legal basis he had not to talk about those conversations.
Well, I just explained that because, see, you can basically, if it wasn't for the fact for those protections, you could basically, which you lefty fucking moron shitbags tried, you could use the whole thing of it being a hearing as opposed to a court proceeding to violate President Trump's constitutional rights and gain information and get it put into the public record that could then be used in a court of law that wasn't obtained under the same standards that it would be necessary if it was to start out in a court of law. But there's nothing to find, but you're on your fucking fishing expedition hoping to actually find something. It's pathetic.
I think that he, having had recused himself on the Russian investigation, I think it's a little hinky that he participated in the firing of Comey.
Well, when someone sits there and says something's a bit hinky, okay, it's because they have no fact. It's all feelings. You feel that it's hinky is a feeling. It's an emotion. Okay? And you're putting feelings over fact. You're misrepresenting what happened because the president ultimately was the one and only person who participated in the firing of Comey. He asked the Attorney General and the Assistant Attorney General their opinions on Comey. They put them into writing. They handed them off to the president. And what he did at that point was completely on him. To try to claim that he participated in the firing is completely dishonest and sleazy. Because your misrepresentation is clearly there to push a narrative that doesn't line up with facts.
Because the president said it was because of Comey's handling of the Russian investigation. So
we're going to take that complete thing out of context. Because what he actually was saying was the fact that because of what Comey was doing, he didn't get into detail, but we did find out that he was leaking a shit ton of stuff in regards to the investigation. Which, most of it, pretty much everything that's been leaked has been proven complete bullshit. Okay, the PIS dossier, the intelligence report, so on and so forth. So, when you have that going on, where you have all this shit that's being leaked out that's been proven false. And the one thing that's true, he won't say, which is, just let the people know, at this time, there is no, where you say to me there is no investigation going on with me at this time, just let the public know. All he had to do was that. And, you know, he didn't, you know, which wouldn't have violated his position or been illegal. And it would have been the ethical thing to do. But he chose not to do that. Instead, he leaked out a bunch of lies and other things that were just speculation, like, you know, reports and shit that were complete speculation. So, you know, plus leaking out, you know, stuff that he shouldn't have been leaking out, because the second he put pen to paper in his capacity as head of the FBI, his notes were the property of the FBI. He had no right to remove those notes. And what else could he have removed? We do not know. And where he's one of the leakers, he should be in the cell next to the fucking chick in Georgia, freaking reality winner. He should be friggin' sharing a cell block with her.
So I would like to get him before the Judiciary Committee so we can ask him questions.
Well, of course you'd like to get him in front of it, because as I said, you know, you're on a fishing expedition.
Let's listen to what he said today about his participation in the Comey firing, even though he had recused himself from the Russia investigation.
Well, the thing is, his involvement, he didn't have any involvement. He was asked his opinion. He gave his opinion. The president was the only one involved. You fucking lying sack of shit, Larry.
I do not believe that it is a sound position to say that if you're recused for a single case involving any one of the great agencies like DEA or U.S. Marshals or ATF that are part of the Department of Justice, you can't make a decision about the leadership in that agency.
And he's right. There is nothing that says that he can't, you know, be asked his opinion. There's nothing that says that. So he was asked his opinion. So fucking what? Okay? Hillary was forcing her opinions down the throats of everyone when her husband was the fucking president, and she had absolutely no fucking power or say. And that was completely inappropriate.
Senator Frankin, your reaction to that explanation?
The president said that the reason that Comey was fired was because of the Russian investigation.
No, he didn't say the Russian investigation directly. He said the fake news and the lies that were going on because of the Russian investigation. I mean, because you did have, because it was all fake news. It's been proven fake news. CNN has admitted it, but yet you won't.
And he participated in that firing. So
he didn't participate. He gave his fucking opinion because he was asked about it because of his position. He wasn't involved. He didn't have a say in it. It was Trump and only Trump.
Oh, that was in violation of his recusal.
No, it wasn't in violation of his recusal. There is nothing that says that he cannot be asked his opinion when it came to Comey's firing, even though he was recused from the Russian investigation. Why? Because opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
And that wasn't about some other investigation. It wasn't about the Hillary matter. It was...
All of those things are valid reasons. You're trying to take away from that fact because they were all stated as reasons as why he was fired.
About the Russian investigation. That's what the president said.
Oh my God. His office has given multiple reasons on why Comey was fired. And I'm going to give a few right now. The Boston Marathon bombing happened on Comey's watch. Okay? The FBI knew they were up to something. They were warned by U.S. and Russian intelligence. Their own intelligence even said so. and they were cleared. Fort Hood shooter. His own father called the FBI. He was cleared. The Orlando nightclub shooter. FBI investigated him because believed he was going to do something, and he was cleared. Ultimately, that all falls at the feet of Comey, and are all each by themselves alone damn good reasons for why he should have been shit-canned.
I think the president knows why he fired Comey.
Yeah, because he was being a sleazy fucking scumbag who was leaking fucking information, which leaking information is illegal, while he's being nice, smiling to the president, going, oh, no, you're not part of the investigation, but, hey, I'm secretly putting information out there that you are. And you're going to ask me, hey, to tell the truth about you not being currently under investigation, but I'm not going to. That's why he fired him out.
Do you think that the Attorney General chose to testify about these matters to the Intelligence Committee instead of the Committee of Normal Jurisdiction over his activities, your Judiciary Committee, because the Intelligence Committee is not as well versed in his previous testimony to the Judiciary Committee?
No, the reason why he chose, and watch, Al is probably going to agree with him, but the reason why he chose to do that is because they wanted to see him, and you guys are fucking poisoning the well so bad, he wanted to get it done sooner rather than later, and the fact is his committee, okay, Frankin's committee, does not have the grounds to be looking into this. Could that be why? Oh, well, yeah, that is why. So you see, you're trying to push this fucking bullshit fucking narrative here, and you're trying to make it, well, why didn't he talk to Frankin? Because there was no reason for him to talk to Frankin, because they do not have anything going on in regards to this right now. Okay? But yo, let's have more than we'll have all these different committees. They'll be investigating. Oh, we'll be able to find something that we can pin on him at that point. I mean, you're fucking sleazy.
I think that may be exactly why.
No, you know that's not why, because you know from being on your committee that that you guys don't have a horse in this race, and that's why. So yeah, why don't you shut up already, because you got no clue about facts and reality.
But I would ask that he testify before our committee again.
Which is why? Why do you think he's asking for them to testify? Because he has no ability to bring him in front of the committee and investigate this.
We are the Oversight Committee on Judiciary.
Yeah, you're the Oversight Committee on Judiciary. This is about interference, okay, by a foreign nation. That has nothing to do with the Judiciary Committee.
I mean, on the Justice Department. It's the same.
Or the Justice Department.
Root word, judiciary, justice.
No, it's not the same thing. Justice Department is the prosecution. Judiciary is a separate branch of government, you stupid fucking, because I was listening to you and I've been up since last night. Yeah, I fucking slipped up.
He should come before us. He is the Attorney General.
And Senator, just to go back.
Well, considering you are not investigating the Justice Department, and this is, an intelligence matter, no, he shouldn't be. But you see, you guys are going to misrepresent this, and you're going to lie, and you're going to make it sound like that he's ducking you. He has no reason to duck you because you're not investigating him. Admit that.
Go back over your exchange with him that has become so controversial since you had it. Today, his explanation for his answer, which was obviously incomplete at the time, was that he was responding to this breaking news story that you were presenting to him, and within the context of all of that new information that he was hearing that he had never heard before, he felt like his response was to the elements of the breaking news story you were talking about, and he was not concentrating in that response on his own record of interaction with Russian officials.
This is not what he said. Okay. I love how they keep twisting this, because when he's meeting with... They purposely choose that word, meeting. Because he had a meeting with Kislyak and one encounter in a public place. Actually, 2 encounters, I'm sorry. Because there's the Mayflower Hotel one that Comey tried to sink him with, that the people who ran the reception basically vindicated him on. So Comey fucked up on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if Comey was the one that actually leaked the shit from that closed hearing. Or one of the leftist fucks in it, because I highly doubt it was someone from the right. But I mean, this is the fucking shit that they're trying to push for a fucking narrative. I mean, come on.
That just sounds like a very convoluted an excuse. He just...
Whoa. You're taking your own fucking statement out of context, fuckwit. Okay? And you're using that to go after him. So, what the fuck are you trying to say here?
Answered his own question, and he answered it falsely.
No, you rambled... No, well, you rambled on with this, like, tone of voice. It's, like, really, like, annoying, and you, like, stutter, and you went on and on and on, and you, like, put, like, 50 aspects into a question, and then you tried to get, like, one little answer out of him, and you hoped that you could, like, pin him on it, and you didn't. I mean, dude, all people have to do is just look at his confirmation hearing, and you're fucked.
He didn't answer the question I asked. I asked him if it were true, and in the question, I said, this is just breaking, so I don't expect you to know about it. But if it is true...
Oh my God. Oh my God. You are fucking pathetic, dude.
That members of the campaign met with the Russians and communicated with the Russians during...
Which it turned out to be not true, but yet you keep pushing this fucking false narrative.
The campaign, what would you do? Meaning, would you recuse yourself?
No, you were looking for any answer that suited your fucking, like, we'll say sensibilities. And I use that term very loosely.
And he answered, I myself did not meet with the Russians, and of course he did.
Which was true, because it was, you were asking about as surrogates. You can't leave that out, because if you do, besides being dishonest, what you are doing is you are you are completely misrepresenting him to the point of where you hope that people aren't going to go and double check your shit. I mean, dude, you're pathetic.
Did. And then he could have, any time during the 7 weeks, he could have said, oh, I forgot to say that, but he...
Well, no. See, the thing is it took you idiots on the left 7 fucking weeks to have that shit gain traction. Which goes to show that you're slipping. When it takes you 7 weeks to fucking get something out there to slander someone and have it actually stick, that says a lot.
Didn't until the Washington Post printed it. And then he said in his press conference, oh, I probably, if I had just slowed down, I should have.
He isn't a fucking mind reader. You were saying surrogates, you stupid fuck. You're talking surrogates. Did he act as a surrogate when he met with them? No. So he answered your fucking response truthfully.
Should have mentioned that I had met with Kislyak twice. And then since then, his story has changed. That he hadn't remembered that he met with Kislyak.
No. It's not that his story has changed. he's had to go out and say, yes, I did meet with them, but I did so in my capacity. I did meet with him, but in my capacity as a senator once, and in one time when I was in my capacity as a senator in passing at the RNC.
Until he was informed.
But see, oh wait, you're trying to, where Kislyak was at the RNC, you're trying to make this fucking bullshit connection of Russians and Republicans. The only fucking Russian fucking connection you would ever find in this country, okay, and it goes back to the days of the Soviet Union, would be the Democrats. So yeah, keep pushing this bullshit narrative, dude.
By the Post. So the whole Trump campaign and the people who worked on the campaign and have been in the administration seem to have collective amnesia when it comes to meeting Russians.
They don't have collective amnesia when it comes to meeting Russians, okay? Michael Flynn, one person, okay? Sessions, which Michael Flynn did not honestly report. Okay, yeah, fine. Sessions was being honest. You asked on surrogates. You were talking about as surrogates. He said, as a surrogate, he never met with Russians. So, that's not selective fucking amnesia. That's you being a dishonest fuck with Lion Larry there, you waste of fucking space.
They are not acting, as I've said, like people who have nothing to hide.
Oh. Wait a minute. They are acting like people that have nothing to hide. When you fucking volunteered to go in front of the Intelligence Committee's committee's hearing. When you say I'm going to go in front of the intelligence community, and you volunteer to do it, that's being upfront and honest. You're there to answer fucking questions. Someone who's got something to hide would put off going there to answer the questions. Okay? They wouldn't volunteer. They'd wait until they were called, and then they would fucking try to fight the subpoena.
Well, to go back to Senator Warren's judgment that based on the totality of his testimony to the Senate over this year.
Oh, God. Got to bring in fucking Pocahontas again.
And particularly today, that he should resign. Do you think that's a premature judgment by...
Yes, that's a premature judgment. Because Frankin basically admitted that he needs to get him in front of his committee so that he can fucking go on a fishing expedition, all right, to find dirt on him in order to get him to resign.
Senator Warren, or is there a reason why you don't share that judgment at this point?
I would not come to that judgment until he had a chance to explain himself in front of the Judiciary Committee.
Translation: I want him to come in front of the I want him to come in front of the Judiciary Committee so that way I can get dirt on him, and yeah, that way I can actually make my bones. I mean, dude, you seriously are looking for any which way to get time with him. It's like you're fucking obsessed with him and you're trying to get into his pants. Which, the way it looks like you lean, I wouldn't be surprised.
And I would think that he would be happy, he should be happy to do that.
He was more than happy to go in front of the Intelligence Committee. Do you feel smited that because you don't have a reason to have him there, he won't give you one? Is that why? Because he volunteered for the Intelligence Committee?
And if he refuses to do that, Senator, to your committee?
I think that becomes a problem, and I would ask Chairman Grassley and Ranking Member Feinstein to compel him to.
Oh, God. You want Feinstein, fucking Alzheimer's, to fucking help you? Dude, the bitch doesn't even know who the fuck is president. Okay, she keeps thinking Trump is fucking Bush. And I don't think we're talking baby Bush either. I think she's thinking it's Papa Bush.
Senator He is the Attorney General.
Senator Al Frankin, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lawrence. It is Lawrence, right?
It is. And Senator Frankin is, of course, the author of the new book, Giant of the Senate. I wonder who that book is talking about, Giant of the Senate. Thank you, Senator, very much.
Giant of the Senate.
Yeah, L. Frankin, giant fucking ego retard of the Senate, okay? And Lawrence, fucking Lion Larry. It's not Lawrence, it's Lion Larry.
That's what we thought. Thank you, Senator.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes.
Well, hopefully we've completely gone through this video here and put away any questions people might have in regards to what's being said, and we've corrected the record. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. If you like my content, please subscribe. Thank you. This is the Constitutionalist Libertarian, and